Alright guys, we're making history right now. I'm going to be turning onto my first main road. I say main road, it is a main road, but it's kind of by the neighborhood, so it's not very busy. You know, waving to the motorcycle guy. No big deal. Alright. Alright, welcome to Jackie's Motor Garage. As you can see, I've got the CB1100 right here. This is a 2014. It's kind of a throwback style to the old Hondas, which I think is super rad. So one of the funnest things that I've been doing so far in my journey that I've really enjoyed doing is trying out different motorcycles. I've tried out this, the Street Rod, Sportster, Vulcan S, the Dyna, the DRZ, Grom, so a bunch of different bikes. And it's been fun for me to see kind of what I like about each of the bikes and seeing how they are for a beginner. So, and I know that this isn't typical for a beginner rider. Not everyone has access to a ton of different bikes for you to try out, but I thought it would still be fun to bring you my beginner impression on the CB1100 in case you are interested in that as a beginner or a fairly new rider. So today I'm going to be taking this out for my first ride ever. You know, it's one that John's been wanting me to try out, and I think it's the last motorcycle in the garage that I haven't ridden this one yet. It's the last one for me to try out, so I'm gonna give it a shot. So this one is about 540 pounds. It is, I think the seat height is about just over 31 inches, so it's a little taller than the Sportster, the Vulcan S that I've done, but I can still touch the ground without any problem. It's got the chain drive. So right off the bat, this is a different sound for sure. It's not like a rumble at all, and you can barely feel that the bike is on. It's a very soft sound for a motorcycle, kind of a refined sound. So this is 6-speed, and what I like about it, just to begin with, is the fact that it has a gear indicator. That's always very useful as a beginner when you're still kind of getting used to how the bike feels. So this bike, I don't think I've ridden a bike quite like this before. I don't even know what I would compare it to, because this bike is very smooth. The takeoff is very smooth. Even just going off of that curb was extremely smooth. The throttle is super smooth. That's just the word that I can think of to explain this. It's like butter. Wow, everything about this bike feels really nice. Okay, let's see where we should go. It accelerates nicely. Let's get it into second. Holy smokes, I just feel like I'm flying. I feel like I'm just gliding along. No problem. I was actually a little bit nervous to ride this bike because it's a little bit bigger, but the size doesn't bother me at all once I'm riding around. Even just standing up with it before, it didn't bother me. Not only does it have the cool factor of like the throwback old school look of the Honda, but it drives or rides super nice. And I know I'm not going super fast or on the freeways or anything like that, but again, this is my beginner impression. I'm taking it easy because I don't have, you know, all this experience under my belt yet to go on the main roads. The starting isn't an issue with this one. It seems pretty forgiving, but again, I've gotten better at starting, so Maybe it's just me. Maybe even into third. Man, the extra wind I don't like. But that has nothing to do with the bike, that's just the weather. This is a very, very fun bike to ride around. I like the feeling of it. The stance isn't bad. I'm leaning a little bit forward, kind of like the Sportster, but it's not uncomfortable at all. So if you're not a big fan of the rumble like the Harleys have that I've mentioned with the Sportster and the Dyna, then this is a good option because it is a very smooth ride. Even the stance with my legs, where they are and where my knees come up, it's not bad. Actually, really, I think it's a nice, comfortable stance. It's kind of not as crazy as the street rod, but you've got your legs kind of up like that, but the street rod was a lot more aggressive. I would say for the little experience that I have riding motorcycles, this is a very comfortable ride. It's not intimidating at all. Looking at it, I was kind of intimidated, but once you're on it, it's not. It is not intimidating at all. This seems like a pretty easy bike to ride around. Alright guys, we're making history right now. I'm going to be turning onto my first main road. I say main road, it is a main road, but it's kind of by the neighborhood, so it's not very busy. John's right behind me, keeping an eye on me. You know, waving to the motorcycle guy. No big deal. Alright. I'm gonna be making a I can't even talk. I'll be making a pretty quick left turn after this. So, and there's a car behind John, so that's cool. Alright. Okay, that was, you know, such a baby first move on the main road, but you know what, that's what I'm comfortable with right now, and that's what you're gonna get because I'm not pushing anything and I don't want to get crazy, guys. It was very mellow introduction into a main road. I did it. Cool. It was fun. Hey, check out these bikes over here. You could come hang out with these guys. Make sure you check out Jackie's Motor Garage. Alright, so we've had a big day today. First ride on the CB1100, which I love, by the way, because this seems just like a very refined motorcycle. Very smooth. Very fun to ride. Very forgiving. Not intimidating whatsoever. And I did my first little stint on I did my first little, whatever you would call it, on the main road. Super fun. We're making history over here at Jackie's Motor Garage. Alright, so a couple thoughts on the CB1100 while I'm stopped for a minute. This bike is super fun. If you haven't ridden one before, I would definitely recommend it. It seems very smooth. It's, like I've said a bajillion times, very smooth. It's just a fun little ride. So I really can't find anything negative about this bike. It would have to be pretty nitpicky for me to find something that I just absolutely hated about it. I love the style, how it looks, which is always a bonus. I love how it feels when you're riding it around. It's very comfortable ride. It shifts great. It tells you what gear you're in, which is always a positive thing. I feel like every bike should tell you what gear you're in. Definitely not one that I would be nervous, now that I've ridden it, not one that I would be nervous about hopping on and just taking around. So that's always a very big positive in my eyes for a beginner bike. It's gonna be, you want one for sure that you feel comfortable on. I'm more terrified of the other people around me. It's like the other people in cars just not paying attention. Alright, so since I went across the main road, I'm gonna have to go again. But I feel like I can do it. Up a little bit faster. Probably not gonna match speed, but let's see. So that was a pretty decent, this is pretty decent stretch on the main road. And you know what? This little part, it's not bad. It's not bad doing that because there aren't a lot of cars around and I can kind of take my time. And it's pretty much what I've been doing around the neighborhood, just at a faster speed. So that is pretty cool. You know what, I might be the most comfortable on this bike. But I cannot deny the Harley rumble and how awesome that is. I am still comfortable on the Sportster, but maybe I'm a little bit more comfortable on this bike. And what I've noticed this time around, and I don't know if it's, maybe it's this bike. Maybe this bike is just instilling a lot of confidence in me, but I haven't been as nervous starting at stop signs when there have been other cars around. And something that I've been trying to do and very aware of when I am starting up is giving it more gas right off the bat instead of relying more on the clutch to get me rolling along, which that's how I started as a beginner. I started letting the clutch out. That's how I would start going. Let the clutch out a little, start rolling, and then give it gas. But since I'm more comfortable with the bike now, a little bit more comfortable with riding, I feel like I can give it gas faster or more, like ahead of time, if that makes sense in my limited motorcycle knowledge. Let's get up to third. Alright, so if I want to try to find some kind of downfall with this bike, the only thing I could see being an issue for me would be those, you know, the slow speed maneuver type things that I've done in the past with like the DRZ, is doing that kind of stuff on this bike, just because it's a little bit bigger. It might be a little bit more awkward to move around in such small spaces with how I am right now. And that is my first stall on the bike. I almost went the whole way without stalling, but I am kind of on an incline. Okay. Stalling wasn't bad at all. So if you're prone to stalling like myself, fear not, because this bike handles it like a champ. Alright, 3 stalls. No more. How about no more stalls? Let's see how this is riding up a curb, because it was pretty dang smooth going down. Not bad, not bad at all. I like it. I like it. I wouldn't mind taking this out more to practice on, because it was a fun ride. Thanks for joining me again on Jackie's Moto Garage on my first ride on the CB1100. It was not as intimidating as I thought it would be. Not a bad little bike to ride around. Super fun, no complaints. I mean, unless I was doing slow speed stuff, just the size of it and the weight could be an issue. But other than that, I feel like I would really enjoy this bike. Cool. Have you ridden one? Do you like the style? Do you like the throwback look, which I love? Let me know in the comments below. If you like my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.